Welcome to Cosmic ASSplorations podcast, curated by the cosmos, narrated by Feva Cristina. Hello. Exploring the universe in and of us through a cosmic storytelling of astrology. I want to welcome you to this cheeky journey of sensual shadow play as we claim our liberated authentic expression through expanded pleasure and playful embodiment as a new default for living and loving. Hello, cosmic lovers, and welcome to another juicy episode. Now, I know I say this for every episode, but come on, if you've been around the blog, you do know they get to be very juicy. Personal, edgy, expanding, activating, all of those yummy things. And I've been noticing how almost every podcast that I do, either solo or with a guest, is centered around pleasure in one way or another. And that has truly been the core of my teachings, of my explorations, as well as my one-on-one session, group programs. It always circles back to that. And I realized that this cosmic pleasure is at the center of it all. It's connected to our aliveness. It's connected to our level of intimacy that we're able to experience with ourselves, with others, with life, and ultimately with God, with creation. And so I'm super happy, honored, and excited, blissful, let's say, to let you know that cosmic pleasure activation is being birthed through this portal, is being revealed through my current musing, and is going to become a new offering that you will be able to tap into to expand in this aliveness, in this cosmic intimacy with everything, the sacredness of life that you can then bring into your everyday life in the way you walk confidently with fire, the way you're able to express your truth easily, with the way that you're able to create depth and intimacy and authenticity in your connections, in what you are able to bring into your sacred purpose. It's really that, I'm going to say, cosmic secret that unlocks the magnetism and this joyful pleasure of being alive, of being in the body. And so you can already jump into the waiting list to be informed first and get some yummy access into the new portal. And today's episode is a beautiful lead up to that, a beautiful tease, let's say, with an extraordinary woman that I feel embodies this cosmic pleasure in so many ways and so vividly, so expressively. It's really a delight to witness her. And so I hope you get to feel her magic through this podcast as well. She is a total lover girl, a tantrika, a priestess of love, here to initiate you into the art of love making, where this love making becomes a transmission and your body is an altar you come to pray at. I introduce Emma Sophie, the Luscious Liberation. She is a guide and a mentor for women and men who are ready to write their most legendary love story. She guides you into reclaiming your sacred sexuality, which, it's really your aliveness, your life force energy, where everything kind of starts weaving and makes the way for the magic to happen in your life. She's really here to support you in embodying your true essence and have that mind-blowing intimacy. And so in today's episode, we dive through the layers of personal relationships where I get to reveal what I've been struggling in my connections lately, or maybe not so lately because we run circles, baby. As well as just some very practical tools of how to bring this divine tantric state of being into everything that you do. And so I invite you to drop into your sensual beingness and let this episode guide you. Emma, Luscious Liberation. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome to Cosmic ASSplorations.
Oh, I love the name. I've stolen it sometimes. Like on the ass, I'm like, show you some aspirations, honey.
Mm, I approve. I approve. It's like it's edgy,
Mm.
it's a bit taboo, but
Mm.
one is curious about what is in the black hole, right? The sensual shadow play.
Central shadow play.
Once you
What's
know how
in
to relax into it,
mm.
it becomes really pleasurable.
It is a whole different portal, honey.
Wow, it's been a while since we've been dancing in each other's realms. If I am correct, it was 2021 when we first crossed our paths in a tantric forest community in Sweden. However, I feel like you were living a pretty different life back then.
I did, yes. And I must say, I was very impressed by you. Like, I came across you as like this. Oh, I don't know even how to describe you, like from the one moment you were like so deep, giving a transmission with all this wisdom that was flowing through, and the other moment you're like a forest fairy, like so liberated and bright. And I was like, who is this woman? I was in awe with you, honestly, really. Still I am.
Oh, I had no idea.
So
Well,
so sweet.
the crush is mutual, and I would love for you to take us a little bit on a journey. Where were you at the
Yeah.
point where we met, which was what, 3 years ago at this point, and
Yeah.
where has life guided you now?
Wow. Yes, we met in Antwerp, and I was like, this whole world opened up to me, like, wow, conscious community. There's so much love. This is how we should live life. Tantra festivals, everything. And at the same time, I was just back after a travel of what, like more than a year, trying to see where life wants to take me. And it's like, am I going back to the city? Am I trying to settle here? It was honestly a very weird time for me. It was like, I felt like my soul was calling me one direction and then my human was calling me another direction. And I feel like I had to go through this whole human craziness, honestly, to go back to what my soul was longing for.
And how did you connect with this voice of the soul? How did it come to you? How do you distinguish it?
Oh, good one. Well, I very soon feel if something feels right for me or not, if it feels like my place, if it's something that I feel like I get to grow here, I get to experience more deep me, or where I feel like I'm really out of alignment. This is not for me. These are not my people. This is not my circus. Really. And
Mm,
this is how, yeah, it's really much about a feeling rather than
that's right.
yeah, it's very much a feeling.
Well,
Yeah.
as you know, I love to combine different cosmic tools to help us feel into what is the truth, the most aligned way of dancing with life for us. And so, as
Yeah.
we go through this podcast dance, I am all over your chart on my screen. And
Ooh.
where you just said, like, oh, it's a feeling that I feel in my body. I'm
Mm.
immediately drawn to your authority in human design, which help us kind of experiment with what is that most aligned decision making process for us. And you being a manifesting generator like me, here to respond to life, you come with a sacral authority, which is literally that bodily response, where it either comes with an expansion of like, oh, this feels good in my body, this feels expansive, or it's a contraction of like, ike, something is it's a no, it's a mm-mm. It's like through sounding, the sounds guide you through life. And just knowing, with your charts that you come with this potency, magnetism, and radiance of Leo sun. Ole, lover girl. But
It's me.
that's not all. It's a Scorpio rising there too. Like that's the codes of pleasure embodiment that are literally weaving through your energetic blueprint. And then your moon
Mm.
in Gemini comes to share all of the juicy information about it.
Very on point, sister. Yes,
So I'm
very much.
curious, what guided you to become a lover girl embodied that now guides others how to embrace more of their pleasure in their relationships and in their relationship with their own body?
So it has been really, I feel, I maybe this is in my chart too, but I really feel that I go through this journey and then I teach others. This
Mm-hmm.
is a 3-5 profile. Yes, exactly. Very much too. Yeah, to explore this life and to learn from life and then to teach others. And I feel gosh, I have been going through many lifetimes in this lifetime already. So there are two parts to this, like becoming this lover girl and teaching others how to, yeah, living this art of living. And that comes with the sexuality, but it really started with my own being faced with my own blockages in sexuality. And then at a certain moment, thinking like, oh, maybe these are things that you learn through the ages, right? I mean, you go through life and then you learn this art of sexuality and love. I'm like, oh, at a certain moment, I started to see the patterns coming over and over and over again. I was like, maybe I gotta look within. And I'm really feeling and noticing my own, yeah, blockages in love. Very much like this fear of being rejected, fear of being abandoned, a huge mother wound, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
which led very much to like this being very much in my masculine because it wasn't really safe to feel. It wasn't really safe to express my emotions. I really had to be a good girl growing up. And I think like, fuck, but this is not the life I want to live. And then feeling and seeing inspiration on the internet, but also in places as in Chaka where we met. I like shit, I can't do this on my own anymore. I really can't do this on my own anymore. I can do a lot of things on my own. I'm really good with that. University went great, high school too. But this love and sexuality, I really need other people to help me with that. Which was very weird for me. I felt like this sexuality and love is something that should come natural because we're humans and we're sexual beings. But that's not the case. We also need to be initiated in this path as well. So it was really through initiations and through programs and through coaches and through my own transformations, I was like, wow, this is so freaking magical and life changing. I gotta share it with others too. It was not even a question. It was like, yes, this is what I gotta do.
Yes, yes, yes. And I can see so many points of what you mentioned coming from your charts. And this is what I love this tools because they just help us to kind of put some sense to it, put some structure to it, and find ways to work with these energetics that are already a part of us. And so, seeing how this journey of self discovery through your line 3 in human design, which is all about experimentation, it's literally going at life's experiences. Some work out, some don't, and then taking
Mm.
wisdom from it. And then your line 5 is the line of projection. It's a line of powerful leadership that then invites you where the world invites you to share what you have learned.
Yeah, on
And
points.
I'm curious, what was that turning point when you were like, oh, I need to dive deeper into this? Where did you turn? Like, what were some
Mm.
first paths that you have taken? How did you even find the right mm, road of healing and modalities for yourself?
So I feel this comes to me. It's like the same kind of like the responding to
Yes.
life, right? From the manifesting generator. Like my first Tantra course in 2019 in India, it came to me. It was literally this most handsome, most attractive man walking towards me, inviting me for this super exciting, slightly edge for me at that moment event. So that came to me. And the same was with my teacher, the same as Yeva, like Ananji Merotra from Sattva Yoga. It also came to me. Yeva came to me. Yeva invited me to her yoga courses or classes. And I was like, what is this? You know, like, and then she was literally saying, I think you have to do the course. I'm like, I think you're right. So very often this has walked in my way one or another. A friend of a friend doing this thing and then getting invited to join. Or, you know, like it was really responding to those invitations that came on my path that I didn't saw coming. It's not
Mm.
me looking on Google and finding something. Every time I try, honestly, I don't find it. So I trust now that it comes to me whenever I need it and whatever I need. So one turning point has been in one of my previous relationships where we totally had different schedules. We were living together and I missed deep intimacy. I missed lovemaking. I missed sex. And then I realized how much I was outsourcing my pleasure to him. Like I needed him for the lovemaking. I needed him for the sexuality. I needed him for the pleasure. I was like really like thinking like, fuck, I
Yeah.
don't want to need him for that. Like, why do I need? I have my own body. Why do I need that? And I literally woke up one day and was this down that was coming to me. I need a sex coach. I need somebody who can help me access me because I
Mm.
didn't know how to access me and my pleasure portals and my divinity.
Mm.
And yeah, the juiciness and the aliveness that's inside of me.
I love how you connect the I needed to find and connect with me with actually connecting to your sexual power. Because for the feminine, that is that juice of your radiance and magnetism. It's literally like the power point of our aliveness that has been systematically like oppressed to cut us away from this feminine wisdom that lives inside our bodies because they knew how fucking powerful it is.
Mm, yes, because then you can't mess with us anymore because we are internally resourced, we are internally powerful, we are connected to our intuition, to our womb, to our pussy portal. Yeah.
But I also want to kind of stay on this point because I think it's something that I have personally experienced on my journey, and I think a lot of women do, where sex, lovemaking, and loving kind of become enmeshed, like they're one and the same. I read his book, Come As You Are, maybe you know it, by Emily No what No Walski, I think, maybe.
Seems so difficult. Yeah.
Come As You
Yes.
Are, where basically she talks about sex and sexuality as the way that adults attach to one another. It's an adult form of attachment. And I have I had to awaken to the fact that so often in the past I was looking for that sense of love through sexuality. And then feeling like if I'm not able to be intimate with someone in sexual way, then something is missing. Then there's this anxiety kicks in. And looking at your chart, you have both Venus and Mars in Cancer. Cancer
Mhm.
is that deep feminine wisdom, the divine feminine that lives from the womb, the ancestral wisdom of nourishment, connection to our hearts, where the emotional safety actually is that gatekeeper to sexuality and sexual connection and so forth. And it is between your eighth and ninth house, which is again that portal of transmutation. Safety comes first. But so often, um, it can also become quite complicated when love and sex become so intertwined that it becomes a
Mhm.
need and attachment. So I would love to know, like, what has your journey been with that?
This is such a deep question, sister.
Well, Scorpio risings, are we not?
Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, so the question is, what's my journey been with this love, safety, sexuality, nourishment? Is
Yes,
that
and
the question?
also with your work with the clients, like, how do you see that women connect? What is the connection between sex and love and attachment that gets formed through that?
Well, very much what you say. right? Very often what happens is we get to use it as a tool, sex, as a way to draw in love or to find the attachment or to find the safety in the connection or create a sense of. It's like actually fake safety.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
because I have noticed, like in my past connections, when I would be longing for the men to be more present with me, and I wouldn't be, and they would be on the avoidance spectrum, for example, it was through sexuality that I felt him being present the most. And so I almost like attached to this experience because that was when I was able to feel him the most. But that also created unconsciously unhealthy patterns then.
Yes. Oh, I'm very curious how you have switched this pattern. I'm very curious. Would
Oof.
you like me to share first, or would you like to start?
I mean, I can give a bit of more of a context because I feel like you might have some juicy points to add to that. So, and that's another topic that I want to go into it because in this era of sexual pleasure awakening and all of the pleasure goddesses that we see on Instagram that are also like healing, awakening, empowering, and at the same time it's also an identity. And that's very much of
Mhm.
what I needed to awaken to at some point, where in one of my previous relationships, sex was really at the core of it, what was gluing us together, where communication was off, for example, direction of life wasn't really aligning, but the sex was amazing, right? And being a Scorpio rising, I'm like, mm, mm.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Bring it on, baby.
That's where my
It's a love language
aliveness
too,
comes.
right?
But then as that
Yeah.
relationship kind of dissolved, um, I needed to go on a journey of seeing where I have attached to this persona of being this pleasure queen and pleasure goddess, and how much of my identity was attached to that once I went into deeper, longer celibacy, and I experienced some like how would I call it? Like I was experiencing a series of infections from diving deeper into my womb healing, my ancestral lineage, feminine healing, being in touch with all of the generational abuse, not only on my maternal lineage, but in the lineage of women through Kundalini activations. Like a lot of things were coming up in a very short period of time, which we can say, yes, yes, healing, so much needed, but it wasn't in the rhythm of my body. My nervous system wasn't ready for it. It was happening too intensely, too soon, which is so much of the story of the way that many people relate to sex and engage with sex. It's too fast. It's the culture of instant gratification. And so through that, a lot was clearing and healing. And then the mind gets worried about it. And once I felt like I wasn't able to connect intimately in the ways that I wanted to, all of these patterns of, am I worthy of love if I'm not able to sexually connect, were coming up. Where is my sense of belonging? What is my sense of safety? So it really took me on this deep, deep journey of needing to see where I'm hiding certain patterns behind the persona of being sexually awakened and confident in my body, where that was also a cover up. So it just took me layers deeper. It was actually through Vipassana where I was just objectifying everyone and like having full body orgasms on a meditation cushion. But that kind of started this journey. Mm,
Wow.
I think I'm gonna stop here for now. And I want to hear
Okay.
what comes up for you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I find it so beautiful that we go through these cycles and seasons, right? One time we are way more out there and we shine and we have the sexual energy moving through us, and that is very activated. And the other moments, it's really to dive deep in all of these layers that are so, so deep. I really had so many of those too, like in my ayahuasca ceremonies. I've been shown so many generations of female repression and sexual abuse this lifetime too. And what really what when it started to really shift for me is starting to become my own attachment figure. And I think this is the deepest and most beautiful work and gift that we can give ourselves. And I noticed you mentioned it already. It's like feeling loved, feeling safe, and feeling the belonging. And once we start to be anchored in that in ourselves, we can feel that we can be truly honest and integrated with ourselves, right? Because we don't need that man or woman or other person to give us that sense of safety, of love, or of sexuality, or intimacy, or how to say it, validation.
Yeah.
So I feel that it's really about a homecoming in yourself and being in alignment with your truth and with your essence through peeling out of these layers. But also, we're so conditioned to have that attachment to the other person, right? It starts from childhood. You'll become attached to your mother or your father. That's your attachment figure, literally to be able to survive in this world.
Mm.
Otherwise, you're not going to survive because he or she, or both, hopefully, going to give you the food and the nourishment and the shelter and everything that you need to grow up and actually be able to live in this world. Once you get into adulthood, the shifts from your parents towards your romantic partner. So literally ingrained in our nervous system is this feeling of, I need you to survive. And we got to do this deep, deep work to actually feel like, oh my God, I got me. I am safe here. I got my love and I got my connection to universe. And that's the first and foremost source that I need. And from that, I can have healthy relationship with other human beings from a place of honesty and authenticity.
Mm. And I love that you said, I'm in connection with me and the source of the universe. That literally is this bridge of sexual energy. Like, that is that connection with the divine that we can source. And I know you are a stand for like body being the temple and love making being this act of worship and devotion and circulating the waves of the universe within your body. And so, how does this bridge happen?
I used to have a really difficult relationship with my body. I think the sexual abuse played a big part, and the difficult relationship with my mother, I feel has have a major impact too. And I'm curious how what your take on it is, but I study Jyotish, and the moon is representative for the mother. So for me, it was like I had such a difficult relationship with the feminine and with my mother, but the feminine and my mother, they stand for nourishment and the body. And it's Taurus season right now. So I had this huge, this just difficult relationship with those parts, and that really played out with my relationship to my body. I found that difficult to relate to my body. It had to be in a certain way. I feel very much conditioned by media, society, um, and how that shift happens was really to tantra. Because we can talk about pleasure and sexuality, etc. But for me, it's really about, yes, there's the pleasure and there's the body, but can we use it as a way to access higher states of consciousness? And my willingness to first of all be with my body and to restore my relationship with my body, but then starting to honor it as a temple and treat it with the most beautiful respect and love. And then seeing and feeling and noticing what kind of portals and experiences open up as my body also started to trust me. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, yes. And that's like a tender, vulnerable, slow process most of the time when we have been used to like fast, quick, give for the sense of love and security you need to give. Um, and for the fact that so many of us have been so numbed with our bodies for such a long time, which has been a trauma response and a way of protecting ourselves. where the body has been shamed and coded with so much disgust and guilt and generational trauma. And so
Yes.
desensitizing is such a tender process of devotion to feeling to the feminine, literally.
Yeah. Because that process in and of itself is the feminine, right? You want to slowly open up like a rose flower, and can this actually bloom in its own divine space and time? And what I wanted this process, like I'm gonna be really honest, I'm not proud of that, but I wanted to fast pace it. I wanted to put it in a rice cooker and like, yes, but now I want it, like I know this is possible, so let get me there. No, like that process and the journey in and of itself was a deep initiation into the feminine,
Mm.
the mystery of the feminine, and allowing that feminine to unfold, and allowing myself indeed to take the time, just what you say, like all of these layers of shame and repression and numbness, can we actually hold ourselves with love through those processes?
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And looking at your chart, your midheaven, your line of impact is in Virgo, which is about this
Mm,
holistic healing. Virgo is the archetype of a sage, a high priestess, a healer.
wow.
And it does fall into, well, between your ninth and 11th house, because I use two different house systems in Western astrology, that is, because you use Vedic astrology, yes?
Yeah.
So the patterns are going to be slightly different, but
Mhm.
the story is just multi-layered anyway. So it's not about which system is more true. It's like, no, it's the richness of everything that you are, which is this infinite wave of the universe that right now is manifesting in a specific way based on the vibrations that are awakened inside your body. And that's why body is that transmitter, and this Virgo midheaven is very much working through the portal of the body, and how we can bring
Mhm.
all of this divine wisdom on the axis of Pisces, which is connecting us to the transcendental. But then this Virgo is like, let me put it into the practical. Let me make it useful and applicable in our everyday life where the sacredness is shining out of the most mundane. And so I want to
Yes.
ask, like, when we talk about Tantra and all of this divine lovemaking and meeting God through the body, what are the applications? Like, how is this changing our lives? Why do we even care about it? What use does it have for the humanity at large, as well as in our personal lives?
Beautiful story. Hmm. Well, let's start with the personal one. I feel as what you say, right? As a priestess, as an initiatress of love, a tantrika, we don't wait for the magic to happen. We don't wait until something magical happens. But actually we can bring magic everywhere because
Mm,
we are magic. And I feel what it has really shifted for me is this twinkle in my eyes and this, wow, I got a little secret. I got a little secret. Some people will notice, some people won't. But wow, I have access to magic. So that has given me that sense of richness literally in the world.
mm,
Wow. First of all, we get to alchemize. We can use this body. Again, this body. It's really about this body. I can use this to alchemize the things that come into my life that are shadow pieces that I don't want to look at or I want to feel, but actually use the power of alchemization. And like, wow, my God, I'm freaking powerful. And what is not to be changed in your life once you start to really feel the power inside of yourself? Because really it starts there, right? Because you're with yourself. Because you asked me about lovemaking with another person and accessing God through lovemaking. Well, really start with feeling that connection inside of yourself and feeling the power inside of yourself, because then you start to glow, and then you start to, wow, become. I don't like the word independence, but you're not attached anymore about this outcome or how is this person going to react to me. No, you become your own authority, I would say, for a
Yeah.
lack of a better English word.
Your own
Yeah.
anchor, because
Your
you
own anchor.
realize because you realize that you're not a limited being. You are a limitless, radiant portal
Yes.
of this divine love. And, you're calling now from Mumbai, which is a very special place for me. I used to live there
Really?
for more than half a year in 2019.
Really?
Yes.
No way.
I
Ah.
studied Vedic philosophy there. It was a mysterious set of chaotic events that guided me to come there. I met my philosophy teacher and I just stayed to learn philosophy for 12 hours a day with her.
Wow.
And I remember this concept of it's a Sanskrit word moha, which is this contradictory thinking. And in Vedic philosophy, in Bhagavad Gita, the sacred Indian text, like moha, the contradictory wrong thinking, they say, is thinking that you are limited, where in fact you are not. And so much of this process of reclaiming our sexual power, which is really in reclaiming our authority over our bodies, over our truth, right? It is in awakening to the fact that there is no limit to your love. And by holding on to that truth and breathing it into your everyday life, not holding on too tight, because there's nothing really to hold on to, it is really to open up, we are able to release, unlearn these codes that have been forced into our bodies that we have been fed with so that we can become more of that true selves. And people like you, people like me that come with strong Scorpio energies, like this is the alchemist, yeah. But it's showing you a not so pretty mirror first that awakens you to the magic behind the reflection.
Hmm. What do you mean with a not so pretty mirror first? I'm very curious how you've experienced that.
Well, it's the whole unlearning process of seeing where the attachment
Yeah,
from, where,
that's what you mean.
yeah, where we have been living in this limited, painful place, holding on to and identifying with the pain, with the suffering.
Yeah,
Like it's hard to awaken. It's not this pretty process.
it is.
Just
It
like
is.
awakening
And
to your
it's also,
sexual
yeah.
power is not this, oh my God, now I'm a ro ro ro. No, first it's like crying on your knees on the floor.
Yes, it's as if you get a flogger and like someone's like punishing you like tuck, tuck, tuck first.
First flogging is
Yes.
not always like there's a difference between consensual flogging and being spanked or being beaten up.
Exactly.
Like it's a
This is
line.
yes, exactly. There's a fine line. Exactly. Yeah, you're right. And I feel what I feel. Can I respond to that?
Peace.
I feel like so much here is about, I was contemplating, I was feeling like, wow, so much here is about trusting in the unknown. Because when you are in this limited place with all of these fears and conditions and you're imprinted with this attached love, etc., you gotta be fucking damn courageous to actually be willing to look at it and to think there might be something better. I am willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to face my shadows, not knowing what's on the other side. And I feel every time
Mm.
this deep dive we are making is again an invitation to embrace the unknown with all of our fears.
Oof. Yes, girl. I have to say that right now I'm feeling like maybe someone listening to this needs to hear it. Like it just came as such a strong sense of someone thinking, yeah, but like, I don't know what to do. Okay, I need to be brave, but I don't know what that direction is. And what came through is like, but you do. You do know. But the bravery is you willing to receive it, accept it, hear it, because like you said, the things come to you. And that's the nature of universe. It really especially if you're a generator type, but even other types, it's like the universe is constantly responding to your needs. The universe wants to provide for you. And so it's really the bravery here is, are you willing to open up and receive? Because you do know. And right now, if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, but I don't, can you soften the mind and breathe into the body? Sink your mind down into the heart. Because in the back of those thoughts, that story that is attached to, I don't know, which is also just a habit often, it might be
Mm.
protecting something. But when you soften into the safety of your own heart, you're able to see and feel. And then you do know.
Then my question for this person listening that resonates with this is, do you actually have enough space to receive it? Do you actually take the time to be in a receptive mode? Is there actually time in your calendar, in your days, for that to come to you?
I love that. I love that. Especially, looking at your Gene Keys profile as well, in your sphere of radiance, which is really that sphere that unlocks magic in our lives, that stems from our sense of well being, our health. It's again the state of the body. And you have Jinky number 2, which also in human design, it's a gate of the receptive feminine. It's about receptivity to the abundance of life. The shadow is dislocation of like, where are you dislocating your focus, your energy, distracting yourself, chasing something, come back. Orientation is the gift of your gene key of radiance. It is knowing what what where to turn. It is knowing what to open up to, what matters.
It's a really beautiful one.
So I would love to ask you, what are you orienting on these days? What is at the focus of your life these days?
There's so many interesting entry points here. Like the location wise, I've been really the last couple of weeks, I've been really feeling into just the next step where I got to be location wise. And then the next step would unfold. Like I didn't expect to be here in Mumbai having a little love story. Um, and then okay, apparently I gotta stay here because I feel that there's something for me here. In a
Yeah.
way, like no, I just feel this is always with where I am, location wise, in the physical. I just know and I feel, and I also know when the next thing comes.
Because it is important. I just want to emphasize on that. Like, your environment is important. It literally is the vibration that corresponds with your energy field. And each location, in astrology, we have astrocartography, right? Which also shows us the lines of how different places bring different initiations into your life. What is Mumbai initiating you into?
Which is incredible. Like I love this because like you come into a place and like totally a different side of you comes out and plays. And this is like the great Leela, right? This is the great Leela where we get to play this different role, the different flavor, this different unique fragrance that's moving through us right now. So Mumbai is really inviting me into leaning back more and more. And it felt so aligned when you're saying Taurus season, when you were texting me. It's like, yes, I'm really now in these couple of weeks in which I get to receive a lot of support and a lot of nourishment through incredible good food, through incredible beautiful environments, like incredible beautiful places where I get to be and bask in this frequency that is very abundant.
Luscious Liberation.
Luscious liberation, yes. Incredible. Like all these quotes that are coming is wow. So it's really beautiful because I found before I was really growing my business and really having on the horizon what kind of courses do I want to launch this year and where do I want to go, and really in this energy of creation, creation, creation. And when I'm like on that view. And when I'm going, it's like, yes, let's go, Jess. And then very unexpectedly, life was inviting and is inviting me right now. Okay, can we actually be a little bit more in the nestling, in the feminine Taurus, maybe even the Cancerian? Like, how am I building my home? And seeing also my business, how are we building the structure of my business as the foundation of the home? And first having that nourishment and grounded energy there. From there, we can build again.
I love that. The slowness that actually speeds things up in a quote unquote quantum way.
Ooh. I love how you rephrase that. Yes. Yeah.
We are experiencing this collective transit where the South Node has been cleaning our relational patterns. It's been deeply transforming the way we relate in our romantic relationships as well as in our friendships, our one on one connections, connecting us more to that true sense of self. And I just, because I know you do work with um, people on enriching, enlivening their relationships. What is something that throughout this last year, perhaps, that we've been experiencing this transit, what is a shift that you're noticing in the collective and perhaps an invitation that you would like to send out that feels important because in these relationships, the new world is built?
Wow. Beautiful. The word that comes up to my mind is growth. Like, really, do you want to be in relationships out of maintenance or out of patterns or out of, yes, this is how it used to be? Or are you consciously choosing? Because it's always a choice, right? We can hop on the transit and we can hop on the eclipse and we can hop on the portal if we choose to actually allow that portal to invite us into that transformation. So that this is what comes up for me is like this question of like, what kind of relationships do you allow yourself to be? What is it that you want? What is it that you want to deserve or that you want to feel worthy of? Because it's by you reclaiming that what you are worthy of and really envisioning what kind of relationships do you want to have? And again, for me, that really comes to, are these kind of people, and for my clients too, that allow all of me to the table, that I can really truly show up from a place of honesty and that are rooting for me on the sideline.
Mm, mm.
Yes. So I actually want to point the question to all the people that are listening so that they can reflect and that they can take it in and that they can see, like, okay, where can we course correct here? Where is my sovereign authority here? Because you always have the free will. You can co-create with the universe only when you do.
Well, that is lighting some things up for me personally. Is it okay if I
Yeah.
invite a bit of that
Yes.
in? Because like this sounds
Yes.
so beautiful of like, yes, envision. And I think like a lot of us can be already good in that. Like I know what I want. Well, not all everyone. Like
Mm,
I know that in um, my motivation in human design is innocence. And the not self theme of the innocence
mm.
is actually desire, meaning I'm good at my desire. I know what I want. My Kali is
Okay.
there. I can
Mm.
hold those boundaries. I'm gonna like, you
Yeah,
ain't
yeah.
gonna, boy, get down from the cloud, like that flavor I do have.
I
But
know.
there's been, but there's been a reoccurring pattern in my life because shadows are shadows for a reason. We often talk about, oh, my shadow, la 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 la, but like there are also layers of the shadow. We can be aware of it and it's still playing out, or we can be embodied in it, but then it's not
Yes.
so much a shadow anymore. The real shadow is your blind
Mm,
spot, what you're not aware of, and that's something that I've been kind of bumping against, seeing that, oh, there are certain relational patterns that keep reoccurring. And where
mm,
is my growth in that? My growth is no longer in me
mm,
stepping up, standing up, being that safe harbor for myself and saying, basta. No, I ain't available for that because that's something I can do. But what is then the opposite of that in a way? Where is that leaning in? Where there's a different kind of growth that is slightly unfamiliar to me.
I love that you pull this out because it's like we go a layer deeper, right?
Yeah.
And this is like when I feel like very often we need, well, we don't need, but it's very useful to have a beautiful mirror in front of you. Somebody who can actually be really honest with you and who can point you in a layer deeper. Because these patterns play out in my life too. Like, I don't want to be available for this, but actually, what is my part in this?
Yeah.
Why is this happening in my life? Why is this happening for me? What is this inviting me to?
And how many cycles do I
And
have to run with it before I figure it out?
when do we get over with this? Yeah, but really. And then it's also, can I show up from this is a few, I can actually share a few practical things. Can I show
Yeah.
up from truth and honesty? And this has been really, really beautiful in the relationships that I currently have in my life, whether it's my friends or whether it's lovers, is wow. We come and we sit, and the first thing, especially when it's tender, especially if there's trigger or there's like, I want to run away. I'm sitting here and I'm sitting here with you, Feva. And as I'm sitting here with you, and then I notice like my pants are a little like in my pussy, and I actually want to pull them down a little bit. For example, I'm saying that, right?
Are you sure?
Oh, and I know
I'm kidding.
maybe I want to pull them up. And I notice my armpits are a little warm. So I would continue to share, and then the other person would share. So if we would partner up, you and I would do that together. So what happens is it kind of not kind of, it really calms the nervous system, because instead of drifting away in thoughts and your prefrontal cortex, you actually are here in your body, embodied, right? With I notice, or I feel, or I notice that I feel, when you come to this embodied space. But then you start to speak truths. And I always love to start with something that I love, especially when it's hard. I start to say something like, what I love about this is that we actually take the time to sit here and be and listen to each other. And I love that you and I want to come to a shared reality. So you say some things that are actually nice, that are loving, that are warm.
It's that
Because
spectrum of situation where, yes, I'm triggered and there is love and compassion and respect behind and beneath it all.
And then we had to share, like either you share your reality or what's happening or what kind of trigger is there. Or I noticed this fear is coming up. And then you don't run away from it anymore. We actually bring it to the table. And I've had, yeah, really the most, well, it's still alive. There's a deep love between me and, well, let's just give him, let's say, a man. And the most tender pieces have come up, and then I start to see, oh my God, I am running away here. Instead of, because it feels so vulnerable and I don't dare to lean in, let me then run away. Let me be the independent woman who's like, I am a no to this. Let me run away. Bye, bitches.
Mm.
But then actually seeing that and coming to him and saying, you know what? I see that this is happening, and underneath that is fear. And this is what I fear. And this is what I feel. And just by naming it and feeling it, it already opens, because I give it space to exist.
Yeah. I
And
have an underlying question. Is this
yes,
the...
please bring it up.
So I feel like a lot of people who might be listening to this have done a lot of personal work, a lot of personal healing. And I know for myself that I have become a safe space for me. I am a safe harbor. I trust myself. I trust my intuition, which doesn't mean it doesn't get triggered and so forth. But I feel
Mm.
like I have become quite good at catching that and being able to lean into the moment. Now, where the
Yes.
little shadow can still come, and I hear that from
Mm.
my clients too, is, but is the other person safe? How do I trust the other person? Are they able to lean into the moment with me? And so it's still a little bit of that, but like, can you meet me
Mm.
in the common space of holding, healing, safety?
Yes.
How do you navigate the,
That.
yeah,
Mhm.
that?
It's interesting because I feel that's also a little bit of a dance, right? Like first of all, you meet somebody and you trust yourself, so you trust your own discernment. It starts with that. That's the first and foremost journey in and of itself. But then you will be faced with situations, unexpected things and triggers. As you say, you're a human being. Yes, no matter how far you are on this journey, how matter how incredibly thriving you are, I feel we will always be faced with new triggers or emotions. But
Yeah.
then we can play with that too, right? Then is it like, okay, so what do I need to actually bring it in right now? And can I hold myself as I do that? And let's see how this other person reacts. And if then the other person reacts in a way that might be triggering you, or that's like what I notice, for example, often with men, they want to fix something.
Yeah.
They want to fix something, or they want to provide a solution, or they want to provide a da. I used to, and I think a lot, and I know a lot of women do this too. I used to say, a bit mad with them or frustrated with them. Instead, I would just say now, you know what would really love? I would really love to be heard right now. Or I actually would actually already bring in what I need. It's like before you bring in the big present of like, oh my God, I'm triggered and this is happening in my world, bringing in of like, hey, I would really love to feel safe to share this with you. Do you actually have the space for that? I would love, this is a really tender piece. I would just really love to be received and seen with the eyes of love. And I can imagine it might trigger you, but can you actually do that? Are you in state to doing that? That is really taking care of yourself
Asking
first.
for permission,
And
inviting them to respond in the way that feels aligned for them. And then you've done your part in a way. Now you're asking them to meet you in that.
yes, exactly. And with these, because you ask this shadow coming into play, I feel every time is a little dance. Okay, can we meet the uncertainty here and the unknown? We play with that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love what you offer. Like, I feel in the polarity world, I've been having some trouble with it for quite some time
Mm.
because too many of these polarity theories and practices are taken in a very rigid way and also, yeah. But there's been like this, oh, but I want my men to lead and I want them to like take the guidance and so forth. But what I have noticed is that actually it's the feminine that leads, but in a subtle way through invitation, through openness, through receptivity. So what you said of like say what you need, invite the space in, open yourself
Yeah.
up with your to be met.
Yes, exactly. And what I would love to share on this is like, can we like please, can we also honor and see that there's also tenderness in men. They also have their pieces. They also have things that they struggle with or they're afraid of or that is sensitive for them or that they have shame or that they have guilt or that they also have emotions. They also don't know everything. Like
Yeah.
I noticed this the other day too. I was like, yeah, I would have loved to have him lead in this way, and I have no idea what he's coming from. I don't know what is his reality. So I'm just tell, like, I would have loved for you to come to me with this particular thing. And he was like, I was just terrified.
Yeah. What is that
I was
space for
just terrified.
humanity? Mm.
Yes. Can we please honor that they are humans? They're all human.
And this is where
Yeah.
your self-holding comes as
Yes.
well, where you don't need
Yeah.
another to hold you, but you open up to the intimacy and the beautiful love that can flow when you do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
And I love what you said about, yeah, us giving the invitation because it's really nice for them too. You know, honey, what I would really love is like, I would really love Thai food tonight, you know? It would be really, really amazing. And then he's like, oh my God, do you want to come with me to the Thai restaurant? Like, yes, I would love to. Then he still leaves, but you share what you want.
Yeah, yeah. This is the work of the feminine as well as the masculine to be the safe space in themselves, because the feminine is gonna smell when you're not rooted and present with yourself, when you're not in your body. Um, yeah, it's a very, very delicate dance. But one thing that I do feel like noting that I have also
Mm,
felt and seen in the spiritual
yeah.
bubbles is just that line of, oh, whatever you are being triggered for, like I'm just the mirror and this is your trigger and this is your problem. I'm
Mm,
just, it kind of starts spilling into gaslighting where sometimes
yeah.
it's not just your trigger, your problem. It comes with
No.
discernment. It comes with like energetic attunement, honesty. Where is this truly coming from? Staying curious. Because sometimes it, like the fact that your body contracts is not a sign that your heart is closed and now you just need to soften and surrender more. Like when you are in touch with your body, and this is why we do embodiment, and this is
Mm,
why we do somatic healing, and this is what we are attuning to the subtleties that you are so beautifully bringing through with our sexuality, our pleasure, the body as a temple, to have this compass of wisdom that lives inside and also know when is a contraction of my own patterns that I'm still healing and when is it
mm.
actually my body's wisdom saying no.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. And this is a beautiful journey to go on and to notice the difference also between like, oh my God, this stinks.
Mm.
And oh, this is maybe something in which I still, yeah, can open up into. Very subtle difference.
Yeah. Is there anything else that feels alive on your heart that feels like you would like to offer into this space?
It's a reminder to for anybody listening, it's like you're so worthy of coming home to yourself. You're really so worthy of finding your own sanctuary within yourself. Whatever phase you're in, whatever emotion you're in, whether you're on a high in life, on a low in life. Yeah, I really do hope that you find your unique version.
Mm. Amen. Amen, sister. And I think this so beautifully ties up to what you said at the beginning regarding pleasure too, which I feel like it's so important. It is cyclical. It ebbs and
Yeah.
flows, and there are different seasons to our personal evolution, as well as our pleasure, as well as our sexual embodiment, intimacy, relationships. And so, just like nature is constantly transitioning, how can we allow ourselves to do that too?
Yes.
Mm.
100%. And can we honor instead of wanting to be in another kind of cycle or season or another version of ourselves? Can we actually honor the cycle and the phase and the energy that we are in right now because that wants to bring us medicine as well.
Mm.
There's real beauty in every and all of these seasons and circles of life.
And that's what allows it to flow too.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Wow, so incredible. Thank you for all of the wisdom that you bring and all of the wisdom that you embody. It is really, really felt. And I would love to know what are the spaces that are open in your field, the way that people can dance with you through these realms of exploration.
Ooh, inner aspirations, beautiful. Thank you. You can always reach out to me if you feel called to work one-on-one with me and see if we would be a good fit, if we would flow well together, if yeah, what I have to offer is something that is where you want to go. And in mid-May, I'm opening up Alchemy, which is a 1 month portal. Every week, we're going to do one deep dive ritual in, yeah, the body as a temple, in the pain as a portal. So they're really going to go and play with our shadows in a beautiful way, in which is not scary, but actually it's going to be pleasurable to liberate that. And then we're going to really, yeah, reclaim our sexual energies and really see what it is for us to sexually thrive, and not what it is for Beyonce to sexually thrive or that person to sexually thrive, but actually for you to step into your sexual self and your sexual energy. And then it's going to be most likely beginning of June. I don't know when this is coming out, but most likely the beginning of June, there's going to become a mystery offer. And this is going to be really beautiful and deep in the mysteries of the feminine. It's going to be a co-creation with my sister Anna L, which brings a really, yeah, different flavor of the feminine. Very, very soft. But I'm not going to say too much about that because it's a mystery offer. So
trusting the unknown.
yes, exactly.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All the links are going to be posted below. I really, really encourage people to come into your field and get the juiciness. It's really beautiful and poetic and artful what you share. And I'm so excited to continue to witness you bloom in all these ways and help bring more blooming and watering to this world.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure, and I felt a transmission happening here between the two of us. And I really, really, really enjoy, and I really admire and honor you, who you are, what you bring to the world, like the magic that you're living and embodying and transmitting, and already people receiving just from seeing, hearing, and listening to you.
Ooh, well, what can I say? It's my Scorpio, okay? You know how that feels. Wonderful. Thank you, Emma. Much love.